Your glasses, you need to take them off.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Hey, this is Junker's Review, and we are now going to talk about Flight Risk. It's a movie that Frankie and I saw. Actually, for once, we're going to actually do a video on the same day we saw it.
There is a I forgot what she was. I forgot what.
She's a U.S.
Yeah, U.S.
Marshal.
Marshal. Yes.
A U.S. Marshal is transporting a mob informant by plane. The pilot, I don't. We never actually get the pilot's name, his real name. It's played
No.
by Mark Wahlberg, and he is basically an assassin from the mob. And
Yes.
that's the movie. We're trying to get to Anchorage, maybe. I don't really.
Yes. They're trying to get to Anchorage so they can get a larger flight all the way to um. They're kind of gonna go from Anchorage to Seattle, then Seattle to New York. And they have
Uh, it stars Mark Wahlberg as the pilot. It stars Michelle Dockery is the U.S. Marshal. Uh, I don't really know her from anything else. I know she was in that awful show my wife watches, Downton Abbey. Uh, do you know that woman from anything else? I've never seen her in
I've
anything.
never seen that. I've never seen Downton Abbey, so I had no idea who she was.
Well, you're not missing anything. Kind of an odd choice to be a mob informant. Topher Grace, he's the
He's
guy from.
fine.
He's funny. He's the guy from that '70s show. But I mean, I guess we can start going into some of the since the movie plot, honest to God, is transport this guy, assassin, pilot, crazy dude on the plane, and that's the plot. That's it. It's directed by Mel Gibson. They kind of tried to hide that fact forever, uh, and
But now when you go to a Regal Theater, that's one of the questions they give you before the movie starts.
I mean
So
the thing is, this movie is one of those things. And I looked it up on Rotten Tomatoes, where it's getting review bombed by critics, uh, and the audiences like it better. And I mean, I swear to God, looking through some of these reviews, I spot checked some of them, and they just wrote the review once I think they just wrote the review once they found out Mel Gibson was involved. I don't even think some of them saw the damn movie. I was reading one review, and I was just curious about the who it was, and it was some lady, and it was on Rotten Tomatoes, and I clicked on her Twitter feed, and it was just like nonstop bitching about Trump. This woman was supposed to be a movie critic, but I mean, her Twitter feed was basically 95% griping about Republicans, 5% movie reviews. I mean, it was just like these people. I think these people just wrote these bad reviews to curry favor because, honest to God, uh, the movie was corny, but it was entertaining. Uh, I was entertained by this movie. I had a good time. I thought it was good. I don't know what you
I enjoyed
thought.
it. I enjoyed it. Some of the reviews that I read were so nitpicky. Literally, there's a scene with the moose. All the moose look like 1980s pixel gaming CGI. Then talk about his bald patch, his his
Which
accent.
actually, that review was wrong. I think Mark Wahlberg. I looked up two different ones. I think he shaved his head for this movie. At some point, people should go to movies just to be entertained. So, if you've watched this channel, most of the movies, I mean, we kind of err on the side of usually enjoying it. I
Yes.
mean, we do, and I don't really have a problem with that. So, one of our friends, pointed out to a movie we didn't like. He was like, "Oh my gosh, if you all didn't like this movie, it must be really bad." But I mean, I go to be entertained. I don't go to worry about some damn CGI moose or something like that. Uh, I mean, this movie was goofy in some respect. For example, at the very beginning of the movie, when they bust in and catch the dude, I mean, you arrest a person and haul them off, and then they go make deals or whatever. This woman that arrested him showed up with basically the a sign on the dotted line here. It was just weird. That whole interchange was weird. And Mark Wahlberg, I thought he was hilarious in the movie. I do think that it's kind of weird that they made him Southern because
Well,
Mark
no,
Wahlberg.
no, he that was just a southern, that was just an accent because if you'll notice at one point he goes back to his Boston accent when he's talking to her.
Well, that's good to know because otherwise it would have been a strange thing. Topher Grace, I forget his name in the movie. Let me look up his name real quick. Uh, Topher Grace played uh, uh, what the hell? It never says anything. Oh, the guy's name is Winston, okay, and he's played by that Topher Grace guy from that '70s show. This is the last person that I would expect. This guy looked like he would be if he saw a spider, he would have a heart attack. Just the way he acted during that movie,
Well, he
there
was
was
supposed to be. He was someone who just sit in his basement and crack numbers. He didn't do
oh
anything.
man, I mean, I could not see the mob hiring that guy to do anything. The mob's got bosses name was Moretti, and that's all you ever heard about him. I could not see, after watching different mob shows and watching mobster interviews and stuff, they would they would hire that guy and would just want to beat his ass on a daily basis. I mean,
I would say the character was really bright and really smart about counting and hiding money. That's why he was hired.
I mean, okay, so you hire this guy and he flipped in like two. He flipped before they had a handcuff on him. I don't know if it I don't know if it was chemistry per se because it was like they were all on three different planets. I mean, Mark Wahlberg was crazy, and the U.S. Marshal lady, the Downton Abbey chick, was just overly serious and at times violent. Had the accountant guy who was just seemed neurotic or something. I don't know what his deal was, but so anyway, they were all shoved on a plane. It was like a you know that bus trip in planes, trains, and automobiles. It was just all kinds of corny people
Never saw
shoved
that
in.
movie.
Yeah, Dad wants ambrosia, so I guess we can.
I want a fucking car right fucking now.
It was pretty good. You got to see it. And I took my kid Andrew, he was sitting beside me, and he's like 12 or 13, and he was just like talking to the U.S. Marshal. He was like, shoot him, talking about the pilot. Why in the world they kept Mark Wahlberg alive or not incapacitated at least is beyond me. I mean, he was just free to call attack. There was like one scene. I don't. Did you see this several times where Mark Wahlberg was sitting back there sawing through his stuff, and he wasn't even trying to hide it.
Right.
I mean, that was just weird.
And she never noticed she lost her sunglasses. That's weird.
And the knife, yeah, that's another thing. The knife that was floating around. That I mean,
Well, I think Winston, the knife hit him in the face, and he knew where it was at. He didn't even tell the marshal where it was at. I
whose
think
knife was it originally?
it was the pilot's. Remember, he pulled it out and he was showing it to her
Um,
face.
well, anyway, this knife gets loose in the plane and it's just perpetually there for the rest of the movie. And for the U.S. Marshal, who never bothered to find this knife, never bothered to incapacitate Mark Wahlberg. Once she gets her uh, Indian stereotype air traffic help on the phone, that guy that's like, hitting on her and stuff is the most ridiculous. I mean,
I
honestly,
think it was. I think it was a psychological tactic to keep her mind other than thinking about
no,
crashing
dude,
the
that
plane.
guy showed up at the end of the movie on a bus. That was not psychological. That guy was just a weirdo.
Okay,
I mean,
that's how I'm thinking they wrote it.
I saw some reviewers say it, and this is the truth. It's like they went to The Simpsons and got that Indian uh, store clerk and brought him to this movie. It was entertaining. The movie was entertaining, and that's all I ask for a movie. But the night before, I had gone with Andrew and Matthew, and we went to see Mufasa. And I was honest to God, I'm not lying about this. In the movie, I was sitting there, I chipped off a part of a filling, and I'm gonna have to go get it drilled and all that wonderful stuff. And I was sitting there watching Mufasa, and I was like, going, that dentist appointment is going to be more enjoyable than sitting here watching this awful movie. Flight Risk, I thought it was good. One or two times, whenever you got up to go to the bathroom, and you were like, "Man, I've got to go to the bathroom," because you didn't want to miss it.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it because as soon as I did, there was like really something good happening.
Oh wait, I went up. I got up one time during Mufasa and went to the bathroom. I think I was out there for like 20 minutes. I was checking my phone, looking at stocks. I mean, I did a lot of the reviews, not all of them, uh, but a lot of the reviews were probably written once they found out Mel Gibson was attached to it.
I think
Uh,
so too.
yeah, Mel Gibson was canceled for saying a lot of things that were probably true, and just to be quite honest about it. But he said them 10 years too early, so he got in trouble. And anytime I see the critics going after something like right after it's released, I'm like, there's something else with that. Or the opposite effect, like you remember when The Last Jedi came out, and the next day after The Last Jedi, all the critics were like, "Oh my God, this is such a great movie. Oh, this is so wonderful." And it was awful. And the audience, the fans especially, most of them hated it. And I mean, unfortunately, that's where at a time when these people aren't showing up just to review movies. They're showing up to impress the people that made the movies or to curry political points or so. It's just it really is a ridiculous situation. That's why
I
on
also
this
think it's also they were as long as they keep giving good reviews, they get to see the movie early.
that's true too, access and stuff like that. I would have to say in the case of Flight Risk, I mean, where I don't know where the camera is on this laptop. I'll give my thumb. I'll give a
Yeah, you need
thumbs
to
up.
you need to back up your thumb. All I saw was your hand. There
Uh,
you go.
I'll give a thumbs up. Maybe a middle one for some weird stuff or what. Junkers review. I liked it. Give your thoughts and then say whether you.
I enjoyed it. It was not predictable. You didn't know where this movie once they got in the plane. The only thing you knew that Mark Wahlberg was not the pilot. Other than that, it was very unpredictable and very enjoyable.
That's the end of this video. See y'all later. Go see Flight Risk.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get more of our content.
All right.
Please hit that like button so we can get in the algorithm.